I'm Nick. I'll be talking without a microphone. Can everyone hear me? Cam, my eyesight's terrible. Okay, we're back where we were before. Hey, my name's Nick. I work here. I'm a developer on the mostly on the consumer-facing application for Thoughtful. I'm going to talk a little bit today. My talk is on browser tooling, and I have a short talk. Then Nikki's going to come up. Then I'll do another talk. Hey, when I started developing, the only kind of tooling in the browser to talk about your application was just alerting. And if you were from that era, you did a whole bunch of alerts and looked at an object error, trying to figure out what to do. We're in like so many years of evolution. We're kind of in a golden era now where there are so many built-in tools in the browser, which is awesome. You're working in your execution environment. I'm going to look today with you guys at some of the tools that the React and ecosystem provides as a browser. First, hey, it's really easy to find. There's a plugin for Chrome. There's a plugin for Firefox. You can just type in Chrome if that's your browser, React Tools, Firefox if that's your browser. Really easy. It starts working right away. Hey, you guys, I made this app for you to talk about this. This is our Thoughtful logo, a little message up here at the top. And then I have 4 features, and I'm going to show them to you. First, this comes in dark mode or non-dark mode. We have a too much coffee mode. Little spider graph, really big. If you turn them all on, it just goes crazy. And this is the whole app. And I'm going to look at this. Ooh, let me turn this down. Okay. I'm going to open up my inspector. I'm just going to walk through a few features. I'm going to grab my notes over here too. Hey, I'm on this React component tab in my dev tools. This is installed after I go through the process I talked about first, real easy. And the first thing I see when I tick on this is a copy of my component tree that's easily navigable. If I select my app, let me get a little more going on here. I'm going to see, for each component I select, I'm going to see a bunch of metadata over here, what the props are, any hooks in effect, how it was rendered, and literally the source code. So fun, so nice to see. And then I can easily tick through the components, and each of these is going to update, of course. It's a really small detail, but the arrow keys work to navigate the tree, and that's really nice. If I select a specific component, I get a tree navigator up here. Again, this is a trivial app. It doesn't show you much, but when you have deeply nested components, very helpful. I'm going to show you these 3 buttons and then change a couple properties, and then we'll be almost done with my part. Hey, here's a nice feature, is this button here. I'm skipping the suspend button. If you're the React experts will know why I'm not going to do anything with that right now. I can switch to where the DOM element is. So if I'm looking for my nav bar, I can click right over to in the dev tools where the HTML is. That can be useful. What's more fun is I can log out all of the details to the console. This little bug logs the component's data to the console. And so all of the stuff that was just in that little props window is over here. That's fantastic, my existing properties. The funnest part is I get all of the information the React has about my DOM. I can't directly edit it here, but I have all of my event handlers. I have all, just every attribute is logged out here. Really helpful. And the last little bit I have, this guy, is I can literally see the source code. The previous view I showed pointed to where it is, but you can actually inspect the source code right here in the toolbar. This can be helpful. I'm going to show that a little more interesting detail. This is all read only, but these tools also let you interact directly with your page in browser. Let me see if I can get a little more view here. I'm keeping a lot of my state at the top level of my app, but the first I have this little bit of props. The audience is this React meetup. But if I want to change this in browser, I can make this race car drivers, and my application is immediately updated. Again, we have a real trivial application, but you can imagine that interacting with your properties here while your application is loaded creates a lot of development efficiencies and opportunities. What surprised me as I started getting into this is you can actually interact with your hooks as well. So I have 2 state hooks here, one for if I'm in dark mode and one for all the other states. And inside this application, the DevTools area, I can switch these properties back and forth easily. Let me give you another example. If I turn all these on again, my effect state with label is listed here. And I can turn these on and re-add them. If I can type it out well, directly in the console. Again, we're working with a real trivial application here, but you can imagine there are many applications you write that it's hard to get your application into the state you're trying to test, style, or design at that time. This really moves you forward in that area. And the last little bit I wanted to talk about is that normally for any use state hooks, you're just going to see just the word state here for every single hook. Let me see if I can use the tools themselves to show the source code here. Boom. React Tools provides this little, oh no. This resolution is really good for me up, but there's a use debug value feature in React that you can use to label your hooks. So instead of just use state or use effects, I have with label this function that applies a use debug value in terms of these. So my state setup here says const dark mode, set dark mode. I go to that label function to create the labels. And that gives me these labels like dark state and effect state instead of just saying state. That's a long way around, but the first 2 apps I did, I just had a long list of states. I thought that was a useful tip. That's the end of my talk. Hey, anybody have any questions?